review the Caulfield card for Saturday.
Cool.
You looking forward to it?
I am.
You going to be on track?
I won't be on track, no. It's, I'll be playing from home. What about yourself, you?
I did not get there last week to Flemington because of the ball.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm looking forward to my local track Caulfield ahead of a big Mother's Day. People, buy your mother a present. Sunday. Better get on board.
All right, we might as well get straight into it. So, race one at Caulfield.
Quickly. Soft live track.
Yes.
Realm is out from the 5 to the 10 metre, and it's going to absolutely pour down tonight and tomorrow.
That's right. So I've heard it's 10 mil of rain overnight tonight, and another 20 mil of rain tomorrow.
If so that all hits, heavy range.
Yeah.
Jungle edge weather.
Well, possibly.
We'll get to that a little bit later, I reckon.
Cool.
Very good. So race one is a 2,400 metre race open class.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so we've got the favourite East Ender. It's been very well supported into 3:30 at the moment. You could have got it as much as 470 just hours ago, actually. Kalani Kid, $13. Rock on 10. Alfaris is East Ender isn't the favourite in the race. Alfaris is at $3. Falar $8.50. Transact $6, and Grand Dreamer at $8.50.
So in terms of speed map, I've got Transact leading. That's not a surprise to anyone. Ola Nero generally goes forward. Kalani Kid can go forward. Barry the Baptist will definitely be on speed. The Kiwi Rock On, it can go forward, but generally speaking, they try and sit further back. So it's very rare that you'll ever see a Kiwi horse, even though it's changed its stable, make that transition when they go over there. So I can't see them pushing forward with it. If you like Alfaris, it will be sitting further forward, in my opinion, than the mapping is suggesting, based on chats I had to the stable before its last start.
Right.
So I'll start with you. What do you like?
Yeah, sure. We'll actually East Ender. Look, no knock on East Ender. It's gone and won the double, the Hobart and Lonnie Cups, and we all know that Tasmanian form. It sort of when it comes across to Melbourne, generally brings some pretty good results. But look, it's second up here. It's it won a very weak race, carrying 65 kilos, albeit in Tassie first up. But look, I think it's short enough for me, and same with the other one as well. So I'm actually going a little bit out wide here with Grand Dreamer. You get close to double figure odds. It hasn't received any support at the moment, but it might actually drift out to double figure odds on the day. Look, after the claim, it's carrying 51 kilos. With the heavy track, I think it's only going to play into its favour. It's 7 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, 2/3. So I'm very keen on it, actually. It's third up here. I think it might be ready. And its last run on a heavy track happened to be when it was third up in the Swan Hill Cup this time last year, or June last year actually, where it ran went very close to taking out the Swan Hill Cup. So I think it's a pretty good bet at decent odds.
This will be no surprise to my loyal fans that I am with a David Hayes horse. Alfaris is a trier. So what I really love about this horse is you look at its first up run, not suited by 1,600 metres, but it just tried its heart out. And it's a grinder. It's not a sprinter by any means, and it has been trained for the Andrew Ramsden, which is next start, over 2,800 metres. Last start, they did not expect it to win, and it has run a really game race. The sectionals are sensational. It has hit the line as strong as I wanted to see it hitting the line. I think there's no speed in terms of anything apart from Transact going forward, so they can sit very handy for barrier 4. Craig Williams on board, up to 2,400 metres. It's bred for this. It will love any rain that comes. It is a European import for a reason, and it will be close to one of my best on the day.
There you go. So do you put East Ender in the lay category? It's getting pretty short at the moment.
East Ender is in the bin. The data doesn't back up East Ender. You can't back it at $3. You look at the last Tasmanian horse that came over. It had similar queries on its sectional data on puntingform.com.au. The data did not back it up, and it ran atrociously. So, look, these Tassie horses can defy the data, I agree on that, but at the price, you just have to take it on, especially with the weight. I mean, it's 60 kilos with Craig Newen on board. I'm getting Craig Williams on a horse that I think is probably going to be contesting a Melbourne Cup later in the year in Alferris if it wins the Amsterdam Ramsden. So, and I'm getting 6 kilogram weight swing on it, and I know this horse is ready to go.
That's another big factor, isn't it? It's I think I might have mentioned before on the show that that I don't generally sort of think weights are a great sort of variable when assessing the form, other than distance races.
Yeah. Melbourne Cup's proved that. Yeah. Like, that has absolutely proved the recipe for the past few years is the lower weight, the better. I mean, these 3-year-olds have just been coming over and dominating us from the UK. Outside of that, I would just touch on Rock On. It's the most interesting runner in the race. Galagotis has only had it for 30 days, so it's not like he's really, done much with it. It's literally just sitting. It's coming in off a open class win over 2,200 metres, so it's ready to go. Yep. Its times are quite good from when it's come over here in the past, and look, it's won 5 times and it's soft, so it will lack the rain. So I would not be.
Well, we know you're a very good judge of the overseas runners. You've tipped me into a couple of very big odds in the past. So when Drew tips anything that's coming from New Zealand or Europe, I think it's well worth listening to.
I'm definitely not unloading on it, but I'm not losing on the race line.
Yep, very good.
On to race 2, 1,100 metres, BM 78.
Okay, so the runners in the market, we have Brian, which happens to bob up at big odds here and there. It's going to go around at about $10. Like to think so, 12s. Serious Suspect, 10s. William Thomas is the favourite in the race, and it's had a little bit of support in the $3.60. Sam's Image, 12s. 7-year reward, 11. Acadian, 8. And Del Vecchio down the bottom at 5s.
A load of speed in this race.
Yeah, indeed.
Like to think so. 7-year reward. Ridden choice. Sam's Image, who led Nature Strip one day, beating the horse here, going I think 15 lengths faster than benchmark, which they have not tried with it since, unfortunately. Serious Suspect, launch ready, good offer. They're all going forward.
Del Vecchio as well.
Yep.
I think it could go forward. You mentioned good offer, Lucchini,
Acadian even.
It's just a stack of speed in this race.
So that just sets it up for William Thomas, doesn't it? It's one of those races where you look and you go, I know Ridden Choice is a good horse and it'll be forward and it'll be sticking on. And the 7-year reward, the same thing.
Yep.
But William Thomas was really good from the yard last start, but it had a bit of fine tuning to still come.
Yep.
And it's got that launch race into it, so it's got a really good run under its belt.
Yeah.
It's getting the map to suit.
Yeah, and we know it's had issues in the past, hence why it's only run 7 times as a 5-year-old. But and first up, it was first up after close to a year, wasn't it? It was
329 days, yes.
Yeah, so it's only going to have improvement off that first run, and it probably found the 1,000 metres just a little bit too sharp on that occasion as well. So getting out to 1,100's a big tick, and it was actually working home quite well behind Propel, which could be another tip later in the program.
And most importantly, the horse has handled a wet track in the past. It's trialled very well on a heavy track, and it's it's run second on a soft 6, so
cool.
It's ticking a few boxes there.
It's good to hear that we agree on that one there. I don't think there's too much more to add. Any roughies at a price that you fancy? Or?
Old mate Brian, I'd be on to if the stable wasn't going absolutely terrible. Dicko's last week repeated the stat on that stable. Right. Look, I would just say I think Ridden Choice can stick on from out front, and same with 7-year reward, so it would not shock me if they win, but you have to be with William Thomas.
Yep.
It's that simple.
I think it's going to get backed close to the day as well. So
what price are we getting?
So we're getting 360 at the moment.
Okay.
Once the heavens open, it's I dare say it's going to start a lot shorter than that.
The only
close to the $3
the only
range.
query I would have backing it now is scratchings,
Yeah.
because with a heavy track,
Yep.
you'll probably, and this will actually play into the horse's favour, I think,
Yep.
is if you get 3 or 4 scratchings, I still think you can have a load of speed in the race,
Yep.
even if 1 or 2 from out the front are taken out.
Yeah.
And
No, it's a fair point actually, because you might have 25 cents that comes off the price of
Yeah.
from runners that were never a chance in the first place. So.
especially when you're betting to 140%
That's
marker
true,
or
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. So just be a bit careful. But
Yep.
once again, you wouldn't be shocked to see it $2 on the day.
Yep. Definitely.
Race 3, 1600 metres open handicap for the 3-year-olds.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Zutori favourite at 260. Orsian, if that's how you pronounce it, $7.50. Sakaro $7.50. Thunderdome 12s. Shandy $6.50, and double figures the rest.
I have a distinct lack of pace in this race with Bill the Bee and Thunderdome most likely to lead.
Yep.
Couple of horses from out wide could surprise and push forward, like Sakaro, but there isn't a natural, I'm going to put on the speed here and lead horse. So you're not going to get a supreme out and out staying test here over the distance. I mean, it's 1600 metres, so especially at that 1600 metre shoot, there's nothing that, there's enough time for horses to work over, so there's no real need to hustle and bustle and fight for it before you get to the uphill part, because you've got 400 metres to kind of figure it out at Caulfield. So they could just jump out, get into their line, just might run around and be a sprint home.
Yep.
So with that in mind, who do you like?
Look, I think Zatori and Big Night Out both coming out of the same race. They're the obvious choices, but in my opinion, I think they're short enough in the market. You had half a length that separated them last start. Big Night Out draws wide here, but it sort of has a 2 kilo swing on Zutori. But I'm actually looking elsewhere. I'm keen on a Ruthy called Candescence from the Elton Zara. Yeah. It never got a crack at them at Caulfield last start in the race that was won by Tarwin. It sort of sat quite handy, but it was sort of caught on the fence, lost momentum just at the wrong time the others in the race sort of ran on down the middle. So I'm quite happy to put a line through that and give it a chance. I think it might be valued at $26. So fingers crossed.
I am going with Shandy here as the most likely winner. It was a disastrous ride last start. Unfortunately, we still keep Chris Simons on board.
So they're the two from the Elton Zara stable.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Chris Simons, he's stuck with that one. You'd assume that he'd get the choice of runners between it and Candescence, but
Definitely.
both sort of received
Fairly average.
Yeah, pretty average rides. They didn't get every chance to win that race anyhow. But,
I mean, I have to say, if Tarwin was in this race, what price would it be?
well,
$1.80?
yeah.
And you're getting, what, $6.50, $7 for Shandy at the moment?
Yep.
So I think Shandy had every right to probably be winning that race last start.
Yep.
And this does not look an ounce harder, so...
Yeah, it's interesting that the format of that race, the other runner that ran on quite well out of that was Sakaro, Archie Alexander horse. So you're getting $8 about it, you're getting about $7 on Shandy, you get $26 on Candescence, and they're coming out of the $300,000, it was the Vobis Gold Race, wasn't it? I think probably the format of that race probably stacks up a bit better than the Zutori and Big Night Out. So it's interesting that both of those are the fancy runners at the top of the market.
I would mention for people who know that I like this horse, I had a big win on Crockett last year at Flemington. I think this is a horse that will appreciate the 1600 metres, but I think it needs a nice long straight like Flemington, so I would not be backing it at Caulfield. So for anyone who's worried about that, I am not backing it. Yep. So watch it now win. Cool. On to race 4.
All right, over 1600, the Ian Miller handicap. So we have Kimono at $10, Mohammedaeus $4.20. We have Leopari at $5, Guizo at $3.20, Casio at $4.60, Riyadh $11, and that's about it.
So in terms of speed in the race, he excels from the lambing stable, should be going forward. Casio will always be on speed, so will Miss Admiration. Outside of that, you've just got a couple who just kind of want to slot in behind that, like Guizo at the Bull last start, sat just smoking the pipe and just absolutely killed them in a sit sprint race. Kimono's going to get a really lovely spot just behind, but may get, as Dicko calls it now, the death seat. But if it's ridden correctly, with Mr. Winks on board, they maybe get off that rail in the first 200 metres and get a better spot. So be interesting to see what happens there. Mohammedaeus, Leopari, all those get back. Leopari almost won at 130 to 1 Betfair SP last start.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at its data figures, and you're like, I can see why it's run like that. That's apparent.
Shouldn't have gone around those. It's easy to say in hindsight.
Easy to say in hindsight,
yeah,
and it's easy to look at your sheet and go, okay, you've marked at 23s.
Got out to that price.
Yeah, well, I marked at 23s, and it's jumped.
Do you have something?
No, of course not. It's jumped $15 a place.
Yep.
Because you can't back them all.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, did I consider it a winning chance? Well, I had it rated that, but it was not the horse I wanted backing in the race. Now, some people can say you can always, you can eat overs, and some say you can't eat overs. Well, I think it's still about being selective at the overs. I mean, you've got to have the right conditions suiting.
Yeah, well, I guess if you think it's a 4 or 5% chance, then and you're getting those odds about it, then.
So it's a tough race, this one. Who are you liking?
So I've got Mohammedaeus on top.
Yep.
So I'm all about forgiveness these days, and it seems to be working okay. Just recently, it's very easy just to sack a horse off one bad run. But I think it might have had genuine excuses last start as well. It never actually looked like it settled during the race. It raced very keenly, so I'm expecting it to be back to its best, hopefully.
Well, to give you an example, and just to back up your point there, when it's won at Caulfield, the race before that, the leader has gone 10 lengths faster than class benchmark on the punting form data. Sorry, on the overall benchmark data. Last start, the leader went 14 lengths slower. So the horse has resented that. It's been quite keen. It's over raced, and guess what? It's finished off as fast as it could, but it's run probably as good a final 600 as it could, based on being fought during the run and where it had to sit.
Yeah. So with any luck here, they might go along at a decent clip. It can get settled. And it only has to round up a field of 9, and there might be further scratchings to come out of the race as well. So did you have Mohammedaeus on top as well?
I really like Mohammedaeus at the price. I probably could not get involved. There's a horse that is in this race called Kimono. Yep. Our team, as in the mailbag team, liked this horse today for the race. I personally, last start, said D-Day for it, needs to be ridden further forward. It actually got given a more forward ride than I was expecting them to give it. So that gives me a bit of confidence that from barrier 1, they can be a bit positive with this horse. Up to 1,600 metres, this is, the distance that it was running back at home. And this is a first 1,600 metre run in 2 preps at sea. So this could just be what turns the horse around. Yeah, 60 kilos on board. But I don't think there's too much in this race to beat. I think Casio is a decent live chance from on speed if they don't go overly hard. Guizo, I think, could not have looked any better in the yard last start, so I'd be querying that the Bull was its target race, and it may just be over the top. I don't know, I'm not as much of a yard expert. I wouldn't even use the word expert next to that for myself. So I'll wait to see what Dicko says with Guizo, but I'd be having Kimono on top from Mohammedaeus and Casio. On to race number 5.
All right, so over 1,100 metres, it's the Darren Gauchi handicap. So we've got Swift Sis carrying the 60 kilos at $8. Queen Annabelle, $6.50. Egyptian Bull at $8.50. My Biddy, who's the favourite, at $3.60. Josephine C at $5.50. Neurotic $9.50, and double figures the rest.
My Biddy just gets her way out front. Craig Groom's on board. There's only one real speed in this race, and that's the horse. Neurotic will go forward potentially, but from 3 definitely won't be pushing it. You'll have the types of Warrigal pushing over from outside who may push a little bit of speed into it, but at the end of the day, on what My Biddy did last start, the horse will just jump on speed and be able to control it. It may even be like one of those rides where you know how you see a horse will jump and it'll just sit out the front, and you'll have a little bit of a gap to the next ones behind them, and they'll have like horses pestering each other and then getting in each other's run, and Craigie may just be off and gone. I'm a bit interested in how the race will be run. Like I actually, when I was doing the form for this race, I got a little bit excited. Like just seeing how it could play out, and the only query is, can the horse actually win a race? Like, does the horse want to win a race? Is my one query with the horse. So, what price am I getting for My Biddy?
So $3.60. It hasn't really moved since its opening price. So if you saw a little bit of support there, it might sort of give you the confidence to sort of to get involved. But
I definitely need the confidence. I mean, it's run second to Mystic Journey this prep. Yeah. It's run second just to Grey Shadow. Got beaten by Miss Vixen. Miss Vixen's not exactly the winniest winner.
And it doesn't need to beat a great field here. It's, in my opinion, I think it's a pretty weak field.
So the one positive is this is an ex-Tasmanian horse. It's won 3 times on a soft, and it's performed very well in a heavy. So it's ticking all the boxes I want to see. Yeah. I would just touch on Queen Annabelle, who is first up. Gets an absolutely awful map out the back. We'll need an absolute gem of a ride from Michael Poy, but the data says this horse, if it runs up to what it did, ending last prep behind Swift Sis, that it's a good shot here.
The thing that I like is Josephine C. Actually, I think I've actually got it marked as best on the card. Actually, I think it's had 3 runs back now, and it was quite solid behind Grey Shadow when it ran around at Caulfield last start. So it's its record at the distance. It's unplaced. It hasn't not run a place. 3 starts, 1 win, 1 second, 1 third. And I think it's going to be a runner that's going to lap up the like a soft or a heavy 8 or 9 track. It's had 4 runs on a soft for 3 wins. So it's the one I want to be on.
And gets a decent map from Barrier 1 that you would expect as well.
It should sit midfield. It might need a little bit of luck.
I'd say probably a little bit more forward than midfield.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe 2 back the rails. Yeah, you'd be happy with that spot.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm not sure how the track's going to play in terms of whether the inside's going to be off or but if it's if it plays fairly like it generally tends to do it at Caulfield, then it should have every chance of winning.
We're putting a bit of faith in Chris Simons, aren't we?
That's right. Hopefully he has a big day.
Well,
and the Element Zariat as well.
I just wanted to go have a look. He has had a recent winner this month, so that gives it a little bit more confidence. He's actually not going too wrong.
Just the one winner this month?
This month, he's had a few winners in the past 10, 12 days, so he's actually riding at 14%, so that's not too bad for the last 50.
Good luck, Chris.
Yeah, please ride well. Race number 6 is a race that I am not interested in covering.
Yeah, I'm the same.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first start runners. If you want to know about them, jump on board and grab Nick Noonan's trial report. How sensational are those over the board just to help us out?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Look, he's a very good judge, as a lot of you will know.
Helps me a lot, I can tell you, gets me out of trouble.
And one thing you notice is so many markets are priced. Like the trial form isn't taken into the price on a lot of markets, and if you're prepared to go out there and sort of do the research or follow Nick's tips, it's it's a very easy way of making money.
And I would also then give a plug to Dicko from the yard, because once again, I say it every week, if there's any market I am backing Dicko on, it is the 2-year-olds. He consistently is getting these right. His profit, I did a little profit on turnover. I'm not putting it out there because I'm keeping it for myself. He's going extremely well, to the point where it should probably be its own product. It's just 2-year-old mounting yard male, I'll put it that way. Like, it is just sensational, the profit on turnover for that. So I will trust him here. I would just say none of the horses in the race really have set a time that stands out.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. So Moldova will start favourite in this race. Yeah. It ran the 1100 at Flemington, a minute 5.28. So it's nothing to get excited about, in my opinion.
The best starter horses started 100 to 1 and 200 to 1 last start in the Vogus races. I can tell you that because they look sensational in the yard, and I may have put them in my first 4 when they ran 3rd and 4th, and I left the second favourite out, who ran 2nd, and cost myself an $85,000 first horse. The great game.
Oh dear.
You gotta love it. On to race 7.
All right. So 1100. So Propel's the favourite at $3 in this one. We have Graceful Storm at 13, Notation at 7, Voila at 10. We have Bam's on Fire at $8, Delusions 13, the Commoner at $6.50, and double figures the rest.
Going forward, we have, I'm going to say 6 potential speed chances in Shut the Front Gate, Irresistible Girl, the Commoner, Notation, Angel Lass, and Tropazina. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Propel is the most exciting horse going around this week, this month.
Wow, massive.
It is, based on numbers, a Group 1 horse. It is in a 3-year-old fillies race. Yes, it's carrying 60 kilos. Yes, it's giving 6 kilos to some of these progressive types, such as, I'm going to say, looking at the bottom here, the progressive types will probably be Shut the Front Gate, but who gets in at 51? But at the end of the day, the data doesn't lie. Propel's last start win was massive. William Thomas will most likely back it up, who got beaten 4 lengths by Propel earlier in the day. Will hopefully back it up and just give us a little bit more confidence here.
Yeah, well, that actually might be a decent double. If William Thomas hits the line in race 2, I think it is. There's a very good chance that Propel's going to be winning this.
You'd expect so. So the only query is that Propel handles the track that is presented to us. That is my only query, and we're getting $3.10 to find out.
Yeah.
I am very, very, very keen.
Yeah, I think it looks a bet for me as well. If it sort of gets into 250 on the day, I might sit back and watch it. But the other horse that I found interesting out of this is Delusions.
Yep.
The Kira Mar stable. First up was very impressive run at Swan Hill in October, and then it was a complete forgive. Went second up at Caulfield when it was wide the whole way, and you're getting a bit of a price here. You're getting $13 about Delusions. Draws barrier 6. It should get a decent run from there. But yeah, there might be something small on. I might have something small on Delusions, and if you get a good price about Propel, it'll be a bet for me.
I was about to say local track, but we probably don't know if this horse is trained at Caulfield or not.
Yeah, that's
a
guessing game, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit of an issue currently with the form. I'm going to say that I think punters deserve a little bit better than having to guess where a horse is trained. Back in the day, if you knew that a horse had been getting trained at the Bull,
it's just going to add to you.
Well, especially if it had been in City Life with Chris Waller, it then gets given to Darren Weir, and you know that it's been down at the Bull for 6 weeks. Wow, you can expect some improvement there potentially.
Yeah, I agree. There's too much guessing going on when it comes to where the horse is trained, and that'd be, that's some vital information that punters want to know about.
Moving on to race 8.
Yep. So race 8, over 1,200 metres, we have Jungle Edge, the Mudlark at $6, I'm Wesley at $8.50, First Hand at $6, Blaze Forth at $9, Villamont 10, Order of Command $3.90. It will be favourite for the race. Oh no, sorry, Leonardo da Vinci at $3 as the favourite for the race.
Jungle Edge should lead from I am Wesley, who will be going forward. Leonardo da Vinci is also a forward type. Villamont as well, but I don't expect that they'll be going as forward over this distance. And Redefine probably should be on speed as well.
But do you think Jungle Edge has gone backwards a little bit? I know it's sort of getting up there in age. I know, once the heavens open, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to be on it. But in my opinion, I just don't like it. It never has been one of my horses in the first place. I must admit that. But just on its sort of recent runs, it had a soft track at Warrnambool in the Mongoon.
I think it was in the wrong part in the Mongoon. I know someone's come up the inside, but you look, Innkeeper was gone at the turn. Jungle Edge had every right with the 60 not to be sticking on. That Galaxy, the run before, they've just run too fast, and he's had to do a lot there on a track that he probably did have a right to run better on. I would say being a heavy 8, so that was a run which was definitely a query for me. Earlier in the prep, he was running quite well. I mean, his Ballarat win, very good. Then went on and almost won an open race in a Group 2 race up there, and he was
in the Rubis one.
He was 3 lengths behind Nature Strip, which would any of these get rid of 3 lengths?
Good track as well.
Would any of these get rid of within 3 lengths of Nature Strip? That's what you got to ask. And if the horse is going right,
just from its last couple of runs, I mean, on a heavy 8 in the Galaxy, where it's run near last. I don't know.
Definitely a concern that run.
Maybe it's me hoping that I'm hoping to see the end of Jungle Edge. It's cost me too much money in the past. So,
really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What price am I getting Intelligence Cross?
Intelligence Cross is you're getting close to 100 to 1. Wow.
Blinker's first time, trained down at the Bull, I'm pretty sure.
Matthew Williams, it's absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, it's the right stable for it. I mean, this is a horse that, on its best form back home, it was competitive in group races. Now, it hasn't done a lot since it came out here, but I thought it wasn't too bad. Its last run for DK when it was 3 lengths behind Native Soldier. Yeah. Did it do anything first up? No, but I think they may be just trying to figure this horse out a bit. I'm not sure. At 100 to 1, I'm not letting it go around an enemy on my book.
Yeah, and I noticed it's Blinker's first time for this runner as well, so it shows a bit of intent from the stable, I guess. And what's your strategy? Do you think it might actually get backed, or are you going to sit back and back on Betfair late? Often if you see,
I don't think I'll be getting 300s.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's 100 with the bookies, there's every chance you'll probably get 300s. Betfair,
I'll put it this way. I'm happy to take a bit of the 100s now.
Yeah. Okay.
Just in this field, because I'm looking at it this way. Leonardo da Vinci may be a 1600 metre horse. So Villamont may be a 1600 metre horse. Order of Command has to be respected off what it did last start, because from the yard it was not ready, and it was never going to get past Bandipur. Once again, it's got no heavy track form, but it's a soft tracker. So, it's a really interesting race overall. I mean, you've got the New Zealand horse Redefine, who people probably aren't going to rate on what it's done here, but back home it won a heavy 10 track benchmark 85 over 1200 metres. So if you want a horse that's going to handle the wet, it's won 3 times on heavy. So at $41, T.O. on board, who's probably the best apprentice going around, into $51, into 51 kilos, it's not without a hope. So in short, I'm probably the same thing with you with Jungle Edge. I can't risk it. $6. I'm probably just looking for a few things at value, maybe just have a small play on the race, like Intelligence Cross, redefine. Look, what price is Order of Command? Yeah, $4 is just not where I want to be playing this race. So I may just probably go each way on those two outsiders and just hope for a place result and ever get the winner, get the win.
What do you make of Wesley? Do you regard it? You're starting to get a price about it. It's a runner I've always had a bit of time for. Wesley, you're getting about $9 on it. In my opinion, it maps well. It's it'll ping out from barrier 2. It's and it's now it's run at more for Bill last start. I thought it was okay. It's coming out of the Group 3.
I have one big issue with the horse. It's okay. This start, its only win on a soft track ever was on a soft 5 in a really poor weak race over in Tassie. So it was only a soft 5. It has never won on anything worse. It's had 12 runs on soft for 1 win, and that was on a soft 5.
Yeah, mind you, 5 seconds and a third.
Yeah, but it's had 17 goes on good and won 5 times.
Yeah.
So I'm profiling this horse as a dry tracker.
Yeah.
That's my one query for it. So yeah, it's a good horse that can win on its day.
Okay.
And this rain that we're predicting, it may miss.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's true.
By the end of tomorrow, you may be looking at it and going, "Oh, it's out to $12."
Well, yeah,
I mean, it'll go at this before someone latches on.
Yeah. And if it is in the range of heavy 9, I'm not sure whether it's going to. I think the drainage at Caulfield's quite good, so I'm not sure. By race 8, whether you're going to be looking at a heavy 9 or thereabouts. It might be sort of more so in the range of heavy 8, perhaps.
The track's going to be the real query by then, because that 14-metre line that we raced in, I want to say 6 weeks ago.
Yep.
Because the rail's in the 10, getting out a little bit further than that, I don't think is going to be an advantage. So you're really going to be probably later in the day looking to be within those 3-4 horse lengths, and anything wider may be a disadvantage. I don't know. That's a great thing about track walking on the day. So you've got someone who's a track walker who you can trust their opinion on. That goes a long way, especially the jockeys. I like to just get on track and see one walking the track, mainly Craig Williams.
Yeah.
Shout at him and say, where are you going to be going today? Because they'll tell you. They're happy to chat.
And he's usually on the mark with what he shares.
Craig's pretty damn good. Look, there are some jockeys I wouldn't listen to. I'm not going to out them because that's just rude. But you from experience you learn. And Craig very much is a expert at what he does in every facet of riding.
It seems like he puts in more time than most jockeys. He's probably the best when it comes to research and getting out there and track walking. You always seem to.
Oh, he's preparing his speeches for when he wins the night before and who to thank. He's just an absolute class operator.
Yeah. All right.
Last of the day.
Last of the day, we've got 1800 metre race, the JRA handicap. So we've got Think Blur at $8.50, Just a Halo at $11. We have Remember the Name at $7.50, Winkleman at $8.50, Silent Roar 6, Birth of Venus 5, and For Full Harmony $7.
There's a few here that appeal, but let me just get into the speed map. Tiffany's Lass, Madison Avenue, Silent Roar should all be vying for the speed. Winkleman, Indiana Lily from out wide should come over. Special Diva from Barrier 6 gets a much better ride than last start. Fingers crossed, because it was absolutely slaughtered. And at $31, appeals as a decent each way bet here. Outside of that, I personally am not sure what I am going to be doing with Just a Halo.
It's an interesting runner, isn't it? It's it happens to find trouble quite a lot, doesn't it?
Just lead with it. That's what they used to do. Like, lead with it and it probably wins this.
Yep.
Like last start at Flemington, negative tactics. They got behind Temple Bell, who was one of the slowest first 400 metre horses you'll ever find, and just had to get out late and just run on and run second in a really good race. Like, the horse is flying. You got Jackie Martin on board claiming too. From barrier 1, kick it up, get in a good spot.
Yeah. It's a bet for me, Just a Halo. I know it's cost me a lot of money recently, but I'm sticking with it. I think it's got a win in it very soon. Hopefully on Saturday.
Where do you have it mapping? I've got it near last based on what they did last start.
I don't think they can afford to be near last. From barrier one, it's they have to change their tactics from its last start, and I think it should push up midfield, but you've got it near last.
That's just
in
based
a
on
big
what
field
it's
as
done.
well. It's not going to win for
1800 metre shoot at Caulfield's not too bad because they've all got time to get over. Similar to the 1600 is actually even better than that because it's such a long straight that you don't necessarily have that big pressure. Like they're still finding their spots when you get to the turn 600 metres later.
Yep.
So if he just gives a little bit of a kick out of the gates, he should be able to sit probably 3 back the fence, and you'd be very happy with that spot.
Sure.
But I think it's almost an in-play bet based on that.
That's right. Yeah,
That's a great thing
I'd want to be getting off it if it's settling near last on the fence. So I don't think you can probably find trouble again and struggle to sort of round these up and win.
What's the top? What price is Bertha Venus? I imagine it's probably second, third favourite based on what it's done.
So
Number 13.
We got $5 on it.
Yeah, it's going to sit out the back. Barrier 4, they could be a bit more positive, but once again, you don't know. This is one of those really tricky races where you need to know what the track's doing on the day because we've had a lot of rain potentially. It's kicking out, and it may be very hard to make ground. Therefore, you're instantly probably scratching half the race. But then you've got the good jockeys who know, I can't win from out the back, so let's be a little bit more positive out of the barriers, and it changes the mapping completely.
Sure.
This is not the race to punch out on. There's no race to punch out on anyway, but this is not the race to punch out on,
Depends
guys.
who you are.
Yeah,
We've all been guilty of that in the past.
If you're Walshy, you'll be having a big go later in the bookies ring, I can tell you.
That's right.
Anything else you like there, or is that?
That's. No, I think that's it for me. It'll be a small bet on Jester Halo, and I'll be jumping straight off if it doesn't land where I want it to.
So, if there was a horse on the card that you would be jumping on Betfair to lay.
Best lay of the day?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
This is a tricky one because, you're filling the shoes of Dicko, who is the reigning champion, I want to say, because he won the first one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna name Zutori, that horse in race 3, for reasons sort of outlined that I think I'm keen on a few out of that Tarwin race. Yeah. I think it's and I don't think there's all that much between it and Big Night Out as well. And Zutori, I think it's $2.70.
Yeah, $2.70 currently.
$5. So look at. I don't think it should be that short. I'd expect it's going to drift, but
well, hopefully it doesn't. You can jump on betfair.com.au to lay the pants off of it.
Exactly.
I'm going to take on Eastender in the first. I just got to take on the Tassie form, $3.30. It's the wrong price for me. I think there's 5 winning chances in the race, and I have it, closer to being 4th on my numbers. So I've got to take it on. I think we've kind of already covered what we're confident on. So unless you want to give a best bet.
Well, I guess I think best of the day. I'm going to mark Josephine C in race 5.
Woo.
Best of the day. Yourself? William Thomas is going to be.
William's a pretty good bet. I think Propel is the only query I've got on Propel is the track, but at $3.10, I think I'm still getting the price to find out on the track. So I'm certainly. I have to say it's my best of the day.
Yeah.
I'll try and talk myself out of it, but I can't. I know what I've got it rated, and it's not $3.10.
Very good.
If you were to give the punters one at value.
So one at value, I would. I think Candescence in that same race. So I know there's a lot riding on race 3 now with the lay of the day and the best, but I'm very keen to see what it's got if it gets a clear run, which it should. And I think $26 is very good value.
I would probably be pointing towards. I'm going to say 2 horses in race 8, Intelligence Cross and Redefine. I just want to be having a little small something on them. It's one of those races where little bit of outlay is a big reward.
We're going to be talking about it for a long time if you get intelligence cross up. Remember that day you tipped it?
Yeah.
That'll come up for the next few years, I think.
Until the next meeting. It's been a pleasure having you on, Petey, and thank you very much. Betfair HQ is absolutely flying at the moment.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And for anyone that wants to get involved, like we said with the data modelling, come along to our workshops. Feel free to get in touch if you're interested in and don't know much about Betfair. Feel free to DM me. We can get you set up with an account and show you how you can make money laying runs. Hopefully.
So, play, loving it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Cheers.
All right, been a pleasure, mate.